Welcome to everybody on AK Media today, and we've got a special guest from Scotland, Cameron, with us today, and we're privileged to have him on AK Media. We'll be finding out about his journey, his story today. Cameron, you want to fill us in today about about yourself, where you're from, what you've been doing for the past couple of years.
Yeah, so I've been born and raised in a small town. I think it's technically a city, called Inverness. So, might have heard of it, but if you think of like Glasgow or Edinburgh, think of that. But then like 3 hours north,
Wow.
of that. So it's pretty remote. I mean, we've got an airport, so it's easy to get down south. That's why I always get down to London. Um, but yeah, really, really beautiful place of the world. Get a lot of tourists, but like totally different vibe to like London, and all that. So yeah, I'm 27 years old. Yeah, almost forgot how old I was there. But yeah, in terms of like hobbies and all that, kind of boring football, and that's about it. And then just traveling. It's about as exciting as it gets with me, to be honest. Um,
There was more to
yeah,
it.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible at talking about myself. Honestly, absolutely boring. So yeah,
um,
if there's any other questions, I can answer. But
So
yeah,
let's get straight into it. I mean, what drew you closer to Sikhi? What kind of drew your attention to Sikhi? Because you've been on this journey for a while now, and it's a question that really stands out. What made you think about Sikhi? What was it that kind of clicked and said, okay, you know what, I'm gonna look into this deeper.
yeah. So this was just over 12 months ago. So basically, a bit of backstory. So I would always go down to London. Like it was very common for people who live up in Inverness. Would always end up down in London. Very popular place to go to. Family used to stay down there as well, so I would always stay with them. They stayed in West London, Hounslow. Um, so I was always obviously in that area, like Southall, Hounslow, Hayes, that kind of area. A lot of Sikhs there. Obviously, it's like some of the largest concentration. So anytime I was always out there, I was always exposed to that. Wasn't really until recently though. So the past 12 months, they've moved back up to Inverness. So I was kind of on my own down there now. And then just as that kind of went down, because I would always go down to London regardless, just as a place to chill for a lot of us. Um, because I was always like, anytime I would go out in the streets, I would always see, say like another like Sikh that's wearing a turban and all that. I would always like get that curiosity. That's where it developed, because you don't see any of that where I'm from. They're pretty sure that there's like no Sikhs in my town, because I've never seen anyone, certainly. So you're not really exposed to different cultures or religions where I'm from. Um, so I kind of just got curious. Really, I just felt like what made me do that and sort of reach out. So I reached out to Gurdwara and Slough. What made me do that was I just felt like my own life there was something missing. Um, I I didn't fit in. Like I didn't really get into like the drinking culture like a lot of my friends did. Because I guess for a lot of them, that's what gives them like satisfaction, I guess, in life, is like alcohol, going out on a Saturday night and all that. It was never me. The way my brain was wired was just, I tried it and I was like, this is boring. Wasn't for me. So
What
there's
about
always something that I needed.
what about the cultural differences? Are there cultural differences, or what are the similarities between Sikhi and the Scottish culture? What do you find that, okay, you know what, this kind of is very similar?
Um, Not really. I mean, I'm not terrible saying this. I'm not the best Scotsman out there. I've never worn like I've never done this stereotypical stuff. I've never worn a kilt yet. I don't like whiskey. I like Iron Brew, but there's not, in terms of the culture. I mean, Scottish culture. It's quite a big drinking culture here. I wouldn't say there's a whole lot of similarities. We're friendly, I guess, which is nice,
Any
and so that's probably one thing in common, because every Sikh that I've met, they've all been really friendly people. But like for me, because I was kind of a bit of an outcast with my friends, that kind of kept me out of that whole drinking culture, as I mentioned. and that kind of pushed me towards looking for something else. So I reached out to Gurdwara in Slough Singh Sabha. Got in touch with a guy called Amraj. And this was back in July last year, I think it was. It was when I was down in London, and I said, okay, yeah, next time I'm down in London, I'll give you a shout, and he show me around the Gurdwara. It was the first time going into one. So came down, and he wasn't available at the time, so he again put me in touch with another guy who does a lot of school visits and all that. A guy called Nirmal Singh, amazing guy, and he just took me around for the first time, took me in, showed me like the Darbar Hall, where the Guru Granth Sahib is kept. We had langar together, so it was my first experience of that, and I was just really like shocked. Really, I was just like, when I came in, I was like, I'm really nervous. I don't know what I'm going to do here, but it just felt really. I was nervous, but it just felt like this is really like peaceful. You know, this is really nice. And then obviously Nirmal kind of set expectations. She's like, look, you might just find this interesting, you might not, and never see each other again. But once I had that visit, I was like, no, I love this. This just the whole like morals and values of Sikhi. That it was when it started clicking with me. Like a lot of that I already did. It wasn't like I had to like completely change my life around or anything. It's like, okay, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't take drugs and all that. I was like, that's fine. I already don't do that anyway. So a lot of it already was in my own life. So it just felt really natural. It almost acted like in a support in a way. So I said, I really, really enjoy this. I'd love to keep going almost. I just feel like I just felt a connection. It was like just something, wasn't really like logically in my head. It was more like in my heart. It was like a head and heart thing. Like logically, my brain is saying, what am I doing here? Why am I here? But then I'm like, no, I just feel in my heart that I just wanted to keep going. So yeah, ever since then, I think 7, 8 times since I first went back in July last year. Um, I've been going as much as I can down to London, and every time I've gone down, I've progressed more. I've got in touch with more Sikhs as well, which is good because I always wanted to get more Sikh friends because I've just got obviously more in common with them now as well. So that's been a big support. But yeah, it's just been, I've said it a lot of times to different people, but like the last 12 months of my life, I'm pretty sure, and I don't say this lightly, but like pretty sure it's been the best 12 months of life just because of what I've discovered, and I'm really, really happy about that because, yeah, it was so unexpected in a way. I didn't really think I'd end up in this kind of position.
I was really happy for you as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, the information flow, whether it's you trying to access information, learn more about Sikhi, trying to find sources, how was it for you? Do you think that there was a bit of do you think that enough information was there for you to learn from and it was easy to access? Or do you think that there were some sort of obstacles that you had to overcome to learn more?
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot, obviously, because I guess like Sikhi is one of those things that I guess they don't get a lot of like newcomers like me that come to it. So one of the questions that I asked a couple of the things that I met is like, do you think it's a bit more difficult for me, like obviously coming from like a non-Punjabi background and all that, because obviously predominantly like a lot of the teachings are in that language. And they would say no, it's not, because it's a different perspective, which I understand as well. Yeah, I mean, I've not been trying to dive in too much because I know there's just so much to it, so many books, and I've just been trying to take in a lot of logic. I mean, I'm kind of more of a practical person. Like I felt like I got a lot more um knowledge when I'm there in person rather than just like reading. Like like sitting in the Gurdwara, um, speaking with my friends down there, just taking that in, just like the experiences. I feel like I get more out of that um, than when I'm like say at home trying to read because there's just so many distractions. Like one of the things I've been trying to do, and I've been trying to do that at home obviously because I'm here. I've been trying to learn a bit of Punjabi. I did my first class in the Gurdwara when I was down last time. So I'm someone that's terrible at learning languages, but I've just started with the alphabet. So I've got a purpose now for learning a language, and I've got motivation. So I'm gonna try my best to do
Can,
that, and we'll
can
see
you
see how it
can you
can
put a
go.
sentence together?
Not yet. I'm still trying to do the. I've got about, I think, 10 or 15 layers of the alphabet down, but I'm gonna get the alphabet first because I've got one of my friends who goes to one of the classes. He's keeping in touch with me, and I'm just sort of sending voice messages to him. Maybe next time I'll get some sentences done. But
All right,
yeah,
we hold you to that.
yeah.
How's the family reaction been in that? I mean, your mum and dad, how have they reacted to your new, this sort of change in yourself? Would you say it's a change?
Well, that's the thing, and it's probably a good thing. It's not it's not a drastic change for me because I was never, my parents know me this way. I was never some party animal, so it's not like I've stopped that and I'm just a different person. Really, the biggest thing, and they hate it and they bring it up all the time, is just this: is growing a beard out. I've been trying to just keep a little bit more growth going with my hair, and this is next, growing this out. Just trying to do my best. So for them, I've told them, I've not really had like a heart to heart discussion with them because I don't really know how to go around it. But they know, obviously I go down to London all the time. I go to Gurdwaras with my friends there. Yeah, they're fine with it. I mean, my mum's very protective. She always worries, like, who are you speaking to? What are you going here for? And always asking me 20 questions. But yeah, they know I'm not getting into anything dangerous.
What about
So
if
hmm?
if if that's if your mom and dad are okay with it? So where do you see yourself in a year's time from today on your Sikhi
Eh,
journey?
further on, obviously, I mean, it's hard to say because if you were to say, if I was to answer that question 12 months ago, I would never have said, is this like, there's so many things that I've done that I never would have imagined. Like last time I was down last month, it was my first time wearing a star like on my head. And that was, not only did I do that, was out in public with it. So my friend Amraji tied it on me for the first time. I knew he was going to say it as well. He said, "I think you should keep that on. I think you should go back to your hotel with it." And I was like, "All right." I was really nervous because I knew he was gonna say that. But I did. It was totally out of my comfort zone. Everyone was staring at me. I remember just after he did it, we went into Tesco's around the aisles and all that. I just had like tunnel vision. But every time I had a little glance, like people were looking at me. And naturally, I mean, I would probably stare at myself as well. But I felt really good after it because I was like, if I can do this, I can do anything. It was a really big confidence booster. And I would never imagine in a million years I would ever do that because, it's like white guy wearing a turban, it's like, you don't normally see that. But it was great. Loved it. Um, so I'm going to try and learn to tie one myself actually as well because there's a certain art to it and there's so many different styles. Um, but yeah, like I said, 12 months from now, I mean, as I said, every single time I've gone down to London, I've always gotten further on. I've always learned a lot to take back home with me to keep me going. Um, I don't really set targets for myself. I just feel like it never really, I don't get burned out or anything like that. I just love it. I mean, if I can just get further on and more knowledge and learn more Punjabi as well. I'd like to get into that because that's the natural language, I guess, of Sikhi. I'd be happy with that. Even just what I've learned so far, it's a lot just to keep me focused. I guess. It's all been positive, completely positive.
We'll definitely support you. I mean, AK Media and our team, and we got good reach in that with other organizations as well. We'll definitely try to help you as much as we can on your journey. Um, have you been doing Naam Simran? Waheguru, Waheguru. You've been doing that?
Yeah, I try and do that when I can. I mean, again, lots of distractions, especially in my own home and all that. It's not the same. Never going to be the same as doing it in a Gurdwara. That's where I can keep focused and all that. So it's
Could we do 20 seconds now, and then we can ask you what you felt, and we could maybe talk about your experience with it as well.
Yeah, we can do that. Cool.
We close our eyes, and then
Yep.
I'll start the Vaheguru Simran. Vah Guru,
Guru.
Vah
Why?
Guru,
Why? Guru.
Guru,
Why?
Vah Guru,
Guru. Why?
Vah
Guru.
Guru,
Why?
Vah Guru,
Guru.
Vah
Why? Guru.
Guru,
Why?
Vah
Guru. Why?
Vah
Guru.
Guru. Cameron, he was in the blissful moment, and I saw that. He
So
was.
it's like I forgot all these lights are bright.
How was that?
Yeah, well, that was actually brought me to another point. Yeah, it's nice because I'm someone I've tried meditation before and all that. Never really felt anything. It's like, I mean, my mind is one that wanders a lot. You know, I get a lot of distractions. I can never really concentrate. But that was one of the things that kind of clicked me. I think it was the second visit I was down. Um, I was with Amraj in the Gurdwara, and we did Simran for my first time. I was like, okay, did it I think for about half an hour actually. And I was like, this actually feels, really nice. And I'm someone that's tried meditation before. I've never felt anything, but it's more of a connection again when you've got something, I guess, with a higher purpose um, behind it. So yeah, that's another thing. That's one thing that just clicked with me. Is like this actually feels really good to do this, and it's something that keeps me going. So it's another thing that I've learned from Sikhi that's just benefited me a lot, and that's what makes me really like grateful just to have this kind of knowledge, and it's something that improves me as a person.
What about
Uh,
the five vices that we kind of have to battle in the life of a Sikh? Well, actually, it's a battle for everybody out there. The five vices, you've probably looked into it yourself as well, whether it's pride, anger, lust, greed, and attachment. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, do you think Vaheguru Simran helps with that? Trying to, if something happens at home, or if you're out and about and you get angry, or you get lustful thoughts in your mind, how do you overcome it? Do you think that Vaheguru Simran helps with that?
it does, yeah. I mean, it helps me if I'm ever stressed or that. I'll just kind of like think of that in my head. I'll just like silently. Um, One of the things that helped me a lot, and Nirmal gifted it to me, my friend Nirmal, a while ago, is this the Kara. That's like a reminder for me. That's something that I really need because a lot of the time, like I could never like I talked about alcohol before. Like if I was with my friends and I've had problems since then, even though I didn't like it, if they buy me a drink, I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll just have it. But now I would never do that just because I know how disrespectful that would be. Like I wouldn't wear this and drink alcohol. I just feel terrible, just out of pure like just disrespect for that. So that in a way you could say like just regulates a lot of my behavior. I feel like there's a responsibility on me now, which I like because it just keeps me in check, having that. So that, and then in my head as well, I kind of focus on that again. Something that I still forget at times. You can easily get caught up in the world, I guess. Um, I'm still a learner. There's a lot that I don't know, but what I do know is all this helps. That's just what I keep coming back to that. It's just everything is just so positive. There's no real like sacrifices you have to make or something like that. It's just a better way of living. Is what I can say.
Do you have any sort of advice for the audience, or any sort of words of what you want to, well, any sort of words that you want to share with the audience? Because we're going to end this today, this podcast, and then what we'll do is we'll do a catch up with you in January when we see you in Southall, and we'll do a tour with you around Southall, where we'll be filming it as well, and then we'll have a little catch up with you as to how your journey is coming along. Is there anything what you want to say to the Sangha, to the audience, to our viewers on AK Media about anything in regards to Sikhi, or anything else that you want to say just off the top of your head?
The only thing I'd really say, which I think I've said before, is from my perspective, obviously coming in as like an outsider. Um, like Sikhi, never. It's easy if you grow up in it, I suppose, but I would never like take it for granted. Like growing up, being born, say like having a Sikh family and all that, and you have that environment, that sangat, as you say, that's something that you're really fortunate to have. So I would never say take it for granted or forget about it or just throw it away. I think like Sikhi is something like really beautiful. The way of life, there's so much behind it that's just it keeps you in check. It keeps your morals, your values on the right track. And I only feel like I'm qualified to say that just because I can see it. I've seen it from an outside perspective. That it's not something to be like taken lightly or be relaxed about. It's something that you're really fortunate to have. I'm really lucky that I discovered it, and I've got the ability to go to an area like say London or Southall or that where there's a lot of Sikhs, and I've got friends that are Sikhs now. I'm really, really fortunate to have that, because I could be like most of my other friends who are like completely cut off from that, don't have a clue about it. But I'm not. So yeah, just that's my one message that I'd say.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you for coming on AK Media and taking that time out of your busy schedule to share your testimony with us today. We'll definitely have a catch up with you in January. And thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.